ForScalesTheMost.com, I'm Metal Mark here with only one of my favorite people, one of my favorite guitarists on the planet, Mr. Angel Vivaldi.
Greetings, my favorite person ever.
Who, that guy?
There's no one there.
Oh, okay.
Just you.
Just me? Thank you. How are you, sir? How are you?
I am spectacular. Here again in the wonderful Duff's in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Always a good time. Happy to be alive, man.
Yes. Well, next month, part 1 album, Away With Words, coming out, which you're obviously here to promote and talk about. I don't even know what to say after listening to it. Like, you just get better and better and perfecting your craft like no other. Like, can you ever,
Are
like,
you Away With Words?
can you, I listened to it and I was like, I get it because I can't talk. I'm speechless. And I was like, he's that cocky that he's going to, like, release this album title. It says, I'm just awesome. Way with Words. So talk about writing this album, because being like an instrumental guy, is it hard? Because a lot of people instrumental say like a lot of it sounds the same.
Right.
And it's very difficult to keep it like fresh and new.
Right.
Is that like the biggest challenge for you doing it?
Not really. Well, yes, in certain aspects. Because I really don't listen to a lot of metal. I listen to a lot of really weird, obscure, like world music and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think that if artists in general, if they really first take time between every album to let life experiences just fuck you up and just influence you and just change who you are, that's going to bleed into your art, you know, so just to make things fresh all the time. But aside from the fact, you know, every musical genre has different blueprints, you know, so if you're listening to like a Korean pop song, which their instrumentation is really different from like Western music, or like an Indian classical song, like they all have different blueprints. So when you're listening to different stuff, it just again bleeds into your stuff. So and so I don't really learn a lot of that music or the jazz or anything like that, but it just subconsciously makes its way in, you know, into what I do. And I think it's probably why this record in particular sounds so different and erratic, you know.
So why, if you don't listen to metal, why play the metal?
It's my strength. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you know, obviously growing up, I mean, it was all about, and I still love my metal, you know. Yeah. But when I'm just listening to stuff in the car, you know, I just feel like I just resonate more with like jazz and just weird shit. But metal nowadays, I think that it's so oversaturated, you know, and it's just a very overwhelming genre. Yeah. You know, there's so many evolutions and subgenres of one another, whatever. I don't know, like that's just the music that when I'm writing, that I feel that's a good representation of kind of what's going on in here. You know, it's just through the guitar, through gain and distortion and loud drums, and just, you know, that whole dynamic just resonates with me when I'm creating, you know.
Very cool. Obviously, this is part 1. Part 2 is the acoustic coming later this year, which is not metal at all.
Not in any way, shape, or form, you know. And that's actually kind of where, you know, that other side comes into play, because I've had these songs around for like 6 years, you know. It's just like pretty much for the most part solo acoustic stuff, you know, with 2-hand tapping, some percussion, and that whole stuff is like so challenging, man. I mean, it's a whole, like, I'm in open tunings, you know, it's very vulnerable, it's very unforgiving. I mean, when you hit a wrong note, boom, holy shit, it's out there, you know. So it's definitely, like I said, a vulnerable thing to do, but I'm all about challenging myself and just trying to get better on the instrument, whether it's electric or acoustic, you know. And now with the electric stuff, like, typically I usually, because I don't have time to practice anymore. I'm not 17, you know, like those days are over. But you know, now as an adult, like, you know, working and teaching and stuff like that, like when time's very limited. So what I do to get better is I literally write songs I can't fucking play. Like I hear them in my head and I translate them and I'm just like, holy shit, like, you know. So that's how I obligate myself to, you know, get better. With this last record, I kind of did more of a songwriting. You know, I focus more on the songs. They have some moments where I really test my abilities, but for the most part, it's really, the songs it's all about the flow. I'm trying to get, you know. But with the acoustic stuff, man, like getting used to those tunings and the tapping and the techniques and the fingerstyle is just, you know, a whole other set of challenges. But it's aging me. My blood hurts doing it, but I mean, it's a lot of fun, man. I love doing it. I love doing it. So could you see yourself doing a tour where you would do like half acoustic, half electric, or is that too much? I think people would have like epileptic seizures, you know, like start foaming.
I mean, it's enough as it is. Like just seeing you electric, you're like.
You know, the weird thing is, like, I don't know. I don't remember where I was playing. I was playing a show recently. I think maybe Indianapolis, something like that. Like, literally, I was playing, and like the back of the crowd, which they were just going nuts, and like the front, they were just kind of like. So I didn't. I'm just like, and they just weren't having it. They're just like, I'm like, okay, yo, you know, like, so how you guys doing back there? You know, like, but yeah, you know, it's just two different animals. I like to think of it like the whole concept of the record is really two sides of the same coin. You know, like from the artwork, because essentially part 1 and part 2, like when you put them side by side, it's like one big dual art piece.
Okay.
And it's just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I worked with this incredible, I think she's from Estonia. I don't know, Amandine Van something. I don't know. She's incredible. But you know, so she really captured that whole like, you know, yin and yang kind of concept, you know. And that's pretty much the reason why I've had these songs for a while. I just needed a home for them, and this album cycle is definitely its home.
Very cool. Now, I've been a fan of yours, and this is actually our first interview ever, which is kind of mind-boggling.
Better late than pregnant, man.
Yes, this is true. Write that down. But I've always wanted to ask you, because kids grow up wanting to be in bands, and you've been in bands, so why go the instrumental way?
I think... Well, I can't sing, first of all. I know, like, that's the other thing, too. Is
just
like,
in the shower.
Just in the shower in private, you know. Maybe during weekends after I'm whoring myself or something.
Yes.
For extra cash. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. No, I think that I can't sing, and just being honest with my talents and my strengths, like, I know I'm not gonna get behind a mic and be like, oh. No. So with instrumental stuff, I never really intended to do it, honestly. It just kind of happened. Like, I was in a band, like, way back in the day, and essentially what happened was, like, the band fizzled out, and I would just have these practice drills that I would just, like, wail on over and over and over again, and just kind of, you know, they evolved into songs, and I decided to just go that route. And I think I, you know, had this in the documentaries and stuff like that, but I didn't even know it existed. I mean, this is way before, like, the internet like started booming and stuff like that. So we didn't know about, like, the Malmsteens or the Vais or the Satrianis and stuff like that. Kind of came a few years later down the road. But it's just like I just love playing guitar, man. I love playing the guitar, and I just felt like, you know, I had a lot to say, and I'm not a good lyricist, so that's the best way for me to translate my ideas and just into music and try to paint a picture for someone, you know, because like with instrumental stuff, you can interpret it any way you want, you know. It could be, the song could be about, you know, your dog dying, or about like how you couldn't get that dildo out of the girl's asshole that one time, you know. It could be
that's my favorite song.
That is your favorite song. I know that, we spoke about
underscore
that. Right, exactly. Yes. Underscore ...
Yes.
Question mark. Gotta throw that in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I just know my strengths, you know. My strength is really behind that, and I just like to focus on my strengths, you know, for the most part, and that's the way I speak musically, man, just through the guitar.
Well, you mentioned earlier about how you have very limited time with your schedule and all that. Do you see yourself like doing a shitload of touring for this album, or no?
No,
You're just gonna tease us and make people know, like, I'm really not human. This is all computer.
Oh yeah. No. Honestly, I do shows once in a while, you know, in New York, New Jersey, you know, PA area. We actually been hitting into out to Indianapolis lately, off one dates. Touring, I mean, the industry's in a scary place, man, to be honest, you know, and I think a lot of people know that, and they're really honest with it. And I commend anyone who just devotes their life to the road. I mean, that's just a hard life. And yeah, you know, honestly, like, I'm really happy doing what I'm doing now. Like, you know, I mean, it would be great to, like, you know, play, you know, for other people who've been, like, waiting for me to go to the city, you know, and it's frustrating. But yeah, I'm totally content doing what I'm doing now. I'm just releasing records, you know, playing out with the guys when we can, you know, because all of us have, you know, jobs and stuff like that. So it's really hard to, like, coordinate that, especially when I'm a solo artist and I don't, you know, have a booking agent or anything like that. It's a real pain in the dick. So, you know, we play out when we can, and, you know, definitely got some videos coming up and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll appease some people, you know, just for a little while or something like that, you know. So, yeah.
So for the last question, Mr. Vivaldi, if you had 3 guitarists to play with, alive or dead, who would they be?
Oh, this is so weird. So first of all,
they don't have to be metal. Don't worry.
No. Totally, like, Kurt Cobain's got to be number one, man. Like, if it wasn't for him, I would not be sitting here talking to you, or like any none of this would have happened. Yeah. You know, he was just a tremendous songwriter. I mean, holy shit. Secondly, Matthias Eklund, he plays in a band called Free Kitchen. Not many people know him, but holy shit, the guy is just like the most innovative thing to happen to the electric guitar in a very long time. Third, Vi, because he has gorgeous cheekbones. Yes, I think that we would look really nice side by side.
Well, you used to have sideburns that, like, accentuated your cheekbones, but
I
they're
did.
gone now.
I just thought that was a little bit too much lifting. You know,
too much lifting.
Kind of like a push-up bra, but like facial hair. I just too much.
I love how you, like, all your videos, you can be like super serious, and then you're just a jokester half the time. I love it, because it's like you were like, this is metal guitars, and you're like, hey.
No, it's more like, hey. Man, you know what it is? Like, I don't take myself seriously.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm all about having a good time. Really. I mean, like the music. I mean, I'm really into my art and really serious about that. You know, and obviously I put a lot of time into it and a lot of thought because fuck, man, it takes a very long time to write those songs. I mean, this record I've been working on for like 2 years. Like some of the songs, actually, some of the stuff I've had since like 2004, like literally. I think of my music like wine, man. A lot of people like beer on tap, album records that come out every year by the same band, and the longer it takes personally for me to like work on my songs, the better they come out. You know, not that one's better than the other, but yeah, like when it comes down to it, dude, like I'm not trying to be like some mysterious fucking, you know, like elusive, you know. I'm a fucking human being. Like I shit, I sleep, I eat. You know,
you wash your hands before you pee.
I wash my hands before I pee. That's very important. You got to remember this.
It's genius.
Your hands are dirtier than your penises are.
Think about that.
Think about it. You don't want to touch it, you know. Marinate in that. Just saying.
Mind blown. Angel, thank you so much. Away with Words is coming March 11th. The first part 1, part 2 later, maybe. It's making us wait more. __. Question mark.
Precisely.
Any final words, sir?
Just wash your hands before you pee.
All right, brother. Thank you.